Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagawad Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshina Murti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinem Ambatvam Anusandhadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Sunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sankapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasti Tadadgatena Manasam Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidhusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. So Namaste once again everyone.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. Tani sarvani sanyamya yukta asita matparaha vashehi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. So in this last 2-3 slokas, we are discussing the sadhanas prescribed for converting the knowledge of the self into emotional strength. That is the journey from a prajna to a sthira prajna. How do we become sthira prajna? Mere acquiring the knowledge through shravanam and mananam will not make any practical difference to our day-to-day life. You may be able to even teach. Having done Shravanam and Mananam, you have a very clear, doubtless knowledge of the self. You may be able to teach, give lectures, advise others, but in your own life, in your own emotional management, management of your emotions, it will not make any difference. Because you are a prajna, right? Knowledgeable person, but you are still not a sthira prajna who has assimilated that knowledge and he dwells in that knowledge. So in Shloka 58, Krishna emphasized the importance of the sadhana of Indriya Nigraha. We have seen that. And then in 59th Shloka, he pointed out 2 types of addictions. One is, he said, sensory addiction, and another is a mental addiction. And mental addiction is deeper than the sensory addiction. Therefore, by doing the sadhana, successfully doing the sadhana of Indriya Nigraha, even if a person gives up sensory addiction, still mental addiction lingers for some time. This we saw in the last class. And therefore, Krishna says that even after removing the sensory addiction, one needs to be very, very careful because the mind has got that weakness. Therefore, anytime a person can get into that weakness, can be attacked by that weakness, and he can go back to the previous position. It's a sort of a vicious circle. There is a sensory addiction. Then you try to give up the sensory addiction, the mental addiction continues. And if you do not tackle the mental addiction, it will go back to sensory addiction. Like that, it will go on doing like this. Therefore, in the initial stages, one needs to be alert to any kind of influence which has the potential to upset the emotional balance. And in this sloka, Krishna advises that in view of the above, that is in view of what we have seen the 58th and 59th sloka, Hey Arjuna, Tani Sarvani Sanyamya Asita. May you remain, may you keep all the sense organs as your instrument. Do not be enslaved by them. Just use them as your instrument, like you use the spectacles for seeing. You don't become a slave to the spectacles. Use the sense organs like you use the steering wheel while driving a car. If you have the steering wheel in your command, you can make the wheels go wherever you want them to go. In fact, we have seen this kind of a phenomena among people who take their dog for a walk. Many times early morning, we can see this scene quite often on the roads. Initially, when they come out of the house, the dog will be on leash. And the owner will think that he has the dog under his control. But soon we will find that it is the dog which has the owner under its control, because it will start running hither and thither. And the owner holding on to the leash will be unable to restrain the dog, and he will also be seen running behind the dog. It will appear as if the dog has the owner on leash and making him go wherever the dog wants him to go. Similarly, the sense organs are like such dogs. We are supposed to lead them, but often they lead us. And therefore, Krishna says, Arjuna, don't allow that to happen. Sarvani tani sanyamya, restrain them. It is not suppression. Suppression is totally against the psychology. Suppression is a very dangerous exercise. Therefore, what we are talking about is not suppression, but mastery. Gaining mastery over the sense organs so that we can direct them where we want them to go. Swami Paramathananda gives a nice example to highlight the difference between suppression and mastery. Suppose I am a paying guest with someone and I depend on that person for my food. Now, that person is a very religious person. He observes all the religious fasts and things like that. So on Ekadashi day, that person does not eat anything. And therefore, on that day, there is no cooking done in his house. and I am a paying guest. I depend upon my food on the cooking which is being done in his house. So even though I personally have no inclination to observe fast on that day, I will not get any home cooked food. First of all, there are no restaurants nearby, and even if that is there, restaurant food does not suit me. So I have an issue. I will have to go without food. Here, the restraint is not based on my will and understanding, but it is imposed upon me. The denial of food is imposed upon me, and therefore I have to suppress my hunger. Therefore, imposed denial is suppression. What is suppression? This is the definition. Imposed denial is suppression. On the contrary, suppose I value Ekadashi. And when I value Ekadashi, Upavasa and all, and when I want to do spiritual sadhana, even when the food is available around, I decide not to eat. That does not come under suppression, but it is transcending my hunger. It is growing out of my hunger. That is mastery. So, Indriya Nigraha, which is also called Damaha in the Shastras. So here, Indriya Nigraha of Bhagavad Gita is not sensory suppression, but it is sensory mastery. One does it out of one's own free will, not imposed upon that person. And Krishna tells Arjuna to gain mastery over them because Yasyendriyani Vashe. Yasya Indriyani Vashe. The person who has kept the sense organs under his control, for such a person, Prajna Pratishtita Bhavati. The spiritual knowledge is assimilated very fast. Vedanta becomes more and more meaningful. Self-knowledge becomes more and more relevant. Therefore, here, Prajna Pratishtita means, Prajna means Atma Jnana will become Pratishtita, will be assimilated, will become, what I would say, embedded. So with this, the first exercise is over. That is sensory control, Indriya Nigraha or Damaha. Then in this verse, Krishna introduces the second discipline also. Remember, we discussed the three disciplines, right? I hope you all remember what are the three disciplines. I will not repeat them. So the second discipline is now being discussed. What is that? That is there in the first line of this sloka. Yukta matparaha asita. So when the sense organs are withdrawn from unnecessary pursuits, we have what? With us a lot of extra time. Because if you observe, right from waking up in the morning till we go to sleep at night, all that we are doing is letting our sense organs go here, there, and all that, and keep us busy in those thoughts, in those actions. Most of the time goes for only TV serials. And for many people, TV surfing means they will go from one channel to another channel to another channel and go on searching. They do it on internet also. That is a web, what is that called? website surfing. Here it is TV channel surfing. It is like sea surfing, no? When you go surfing on the sea. All these distract a person. Even, and I have seen, oh, I've got the same problem. 1 minute, I will have to change my, I will close this session and come back. So when I withdraw all these sense organs from all these pursuits like surfing TV channels, reading newspapers, magazines, novels, solving crossword puzzle, Sudoku, etc. When I do that, there is a lot of time at my disposal, and I do not know what to do with that time. And a mind which does not have a healthy pursuit can become very dangerous, because, as you know, an idle mind is what? A devil's workshop. And therefore, here Krishna wants, by avoiding unnecessary pursuits, you can get extra time. Use that extra time to dwell upon me. Me here means the truth revealed by Vedanta. Therefore, matparaha means dwell upon the teaching. Here the me indicates two things. One is Krishna as Saguna Ishvara, an avatara, so that you can meditate upon Krishna and the glories of Krishna, or for that matter, why Krishna, Rama, or any other deity. You can also meditate upon Krishna as the very Atma of yourself. Because in Vedanta, Krishna does not want to reveal himself as a person, as a jiva. In only Bhagavad Gita, Krishna reveals himself as the very Atma of everyone. And also, he reveals himself as a jiva also. That is only in Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, I think even in Bhagavatam, Krishna reveals only in that form to gopis. That is why the gopis themselves declare, Nakhalu gopikam nandano bhavan akila dehinam antaratma drik. Bhagavatam lines. Gopikas tell, hey Krishna, you are not the son of a particular person. Na nandano bhavan. But who are you? Akila dehinam antaratma drik. You are the inner self of everyone. And it is in that Krishna, Paramatma, that is revealed in the Gita. And it is that Atma Dhyanam Krishna is prescribing here by saying Matparaha. Therefore, Matpara means see me in yourself as the very Atma. Mano buddhya hankara chittam na chittani naham chidatman chidanama rupam chitananda rupa shivoham. That's what he says. Atma Dhyanam. So use all that time for meditating upon me as your Atma. Shivoham, Shivoham. And if you do not know the Atma, you have difficulty, then you can do Krishna Dhyanam as a person. Therefore, Matparaha Atmadhyana Paraha Asita. But this Atmadhyanam is also not easy. And that is why Krishna uses the word yukta. With discipline, with integration, you practice Atmadhyanam. Because otherwise, our mind is generally an extrovert mind. Give it one movement enough. Immediately the mind will travel to America and all European continent, everywhere. 1 second is enough. So such an extrovert mind has to be withdrawn and set upon the Atma. Very difficult, but that is this sadhana which is prescribed. This is the second discipline called Nididhyasanam or Atmadhyanam. And we have seen Krishna himself elaborately define the Atma in 13 verses from verse 12 to 25 of this chapter. Therefore, may you dwell upon that teaching. Whatever was taught, continuously keep the teaching, bring the teaching to your mind again and again and again. This is Nididhyasanam. So 2 disciplines have been talked about. Now, the third important discipline to assimilate Vedanta, he talks about. What is that? Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Bhijayate. Verse 62. The Anvaya is Pumsaha Dhyayataha Vishayan Sangaha Teshu Upajayate Sangat Kamaha Sanjayate Kamat Krodaha Abhijayate. Pumsaha, for a person, Dhyayataha, who constantly dwells on Vishayan, the sense object, Sangaha, a fancy, Teshu, towards them, Upajayate, arises. Sangat, from fancy, Kamaha Sanjayate, desire is born. Kamat, from desire, Krodaha Abhijayate, anger arises. So what Krishna is saying is, for a person who is constantly thinking of the sense objects, a fondness for them arises. A fancy. Oh, it's very nice. I want it. So from fondness, the desire is born. And desire leads to what? He says desire leads to anger. Kamat krodaha abhijayate. So as I said, from this verse onwards, Krishna is going to talk about another important discipline, and that is thought discipline. So Indriya Nigraha talked about, Nididhyasanam talked about. Now he is talking about the third discipline, Mano Nigraha, thought discipline, which is the most difficult thing. Compared to this, the first one, Indriya Nigraha, the sensory discipline, is relatively easy. Because suppose your eyes go to something which you do not want to see, you can close your eyes. or you can go out of that place. Similarly, you are hearing something which you don't want to hear, which is about to, which has got the potential to disturb your mind. You can close your ears. The three monkeys of Gandhiji are a visualization of the Indriya Nigraha. Whenever you think of Indriya Nigraha, look at those three monkeys. Don't hear anything which you don't want to hear. Don't see anything which you don't want to see. Don't talk anything. In fact, that's the most important thing. Don't speak anything which will lead to, emotional disturbance. So the sense organs, at least you can physically restrain them. But mind is not like that. How will you restrain the mind? The mind can go anywhere at any time, even in the middle of this class also. Somebody may be listening to Bhagavad Gita, but going on a walk on a beautiful beach. 1 hour, he would have had a nice walk and come back. He or she would have had a nice walk and come back. And then, okay, we have got the recording, we can always listen to that. Therefore, thought discipline is very difficult, but it is extremely important. As Indriya Nigraha is called Damaha in the Shastra, this thought discipline, mental discipline is called Shamaha or Mano Nigraha. Tattvabodha students would have seen all that we discussed in the Tattvabodha classes. And to highlight the importance of the thought discipline, Krishna is here outlining what will be the harm if you are going to allow the thoughts to move around as they want. If you let your mind loose, what will happen? What damage can it cause? That is what he is talking about. Because when you are interacting with the world, so many things enter your mind through the sense organs. And even though you practice sensory discipline, in spite of the disciplines, things enter your mind. You may not be thinking about it at all. It is just that some people, some neighbors are talking about it and it is heard by you. I do not want to see any cinema magazine or all these, these entertainment periodicals. But on the road, there are posters, cinema posters. When I walk, I can't walk on the road with, closed eyes. I have to keep my eyes open. And I am forced to see all those things that are there in the road. And the moment something is there, it enters your mind. So you cannot totally avoid the world entering your mind. And as we discussed, even when you move away from that object, the objects must have gone away from your sight, but the mind can dwell upon that object. Rasavarjam. And any object, this dwelling on any object or anything for that matter is called Vishayadhyanam. So the mind has got this tendency, to dwell upon one thing or the other in the world, which thing has entered through the sense organs. And The irony is, Ishvara Dhyanam is extremely difficult, whereas in Vishaya Dhyanam, we are all experts. When each thought of Ishvara enters your mind, the mind will deal with it for a few seconds and then it will remove that thought. But anything, any TV serial or some cinema story or something enters your mind, it will dwell on that for hours together. Because for Vishaya Dhyana, one need not sit in Padmasana or any other postures, etc., to do meditation. Wherever you go, you are in Samadhi of that thing only. It is either Money Dhyanam or House Dhyanam or Share Market Dhyanam or Elections Dhyanam. When there is an election season, you will find everybody discussing if so and so wins. Oh, after the result, oh, this fellow has lost because of this analysis. The people will do more analysis of the gains and losses of the election than the experts who are sitting on the TV and saying so many things. Therefore, Krishna says that the first thing that happens to a loose mind is Vishaya Dhyanam. Vishaya means any sense objects. And Vedanta says, at this level itself, a person should use his discrimination and ask a question whether it is worthwhile dwelling upon that subject. For this, extreme awareness is required. The moment a thought enters your mind, you must question whether this thought is useful to me or not, whether it is worthwhile dwelling upon that thought, that object or not, whether it is healthy to think of that object constantly, whether it is healthy to fantasize. And if the sadhaka is alert and intelligent, he can nip the thought in the bud itself. Because we must observe, when the first thought enters the mind, that thought is always feeble. It is very easy to distract the mind from the first thought. But if a person does not use the discrimination, then what happens? That thought goes on and on and on in the mind. Like old times, we used to have this gramophone, plates they used to call records. So there, if there is a small crack, the needle, it used to play on a needle. It will get stuck there and the same thing will be repeated again and again and again. So the mind behaves like that gramophone cracked, the gramophone plate with a crack. The thought will go on repeating. I mean, for example, even in the sea, we will see a feeble wave or a small ripple becoming a huge wave. Like that, a feeble thought can become a powerful one. And this is the first stage which happens when the thought enters the mind. Then what is the second stage? In the second stage, Krishna says, Teshu Sangaha Jayate. You have seen a beautiful car. You can't afford to buy that car. Very expensive car, but you liked it. So that object, that car has entered in your mind. Now, if you are alert, you will tell your mind, hey mind, remove that car from your plate. I can't afford it. But if you are not alert, what will happen? Second stage will happen. Teshu sangaha jayate. You begin to develop a fancy for that object. It's nice. Oh, I have that car. If I have that car, I can do this, I can do that, I can go here, I can take my family. Oh, my old parents, when they come, I can take them for a long drive. We can visit outstations, hill stations, and driving in that car. It's a feeling, it's a wonderful feeling, attractive, beautiful. And with that thought itself, you get such a joy, which according to Vedanta is a gross misconception. Because according to Vedanta, world is neither a source of joy nor a source of sorrow. World is just world. It just exists. It is we who superimpose or categorize the world as a source of joy or sorrow. And that is why what is a source of joy for someone is a source of pain and headache for some others. If a particular object is a source of joy, it should be a source of joy for everybody. But that's not the case. And not only that, if we find something is a source of joy, it should be a source of joy for me continuously. That also we don't experience, isn't it? Because suppose I eat one gulab jamun, I think it's a source of joy. I eat gulab jamun, one gulab jamun, it becomes very nice. I feel very nice. I'm very happy. Taste is very nice, beautiful gulab jamun somebody has made. Then the mind takes over. It's oh, this is good. Do it again. One more gulab jamun. I go on doing this. One more gulab jamun. One more gulab jamun. A stage will come when it will no longer be a source of joy, but it will be a source for your stomach pain and fever, all those things. So what started as a source of joy becomes a source of pain. So if we have attributed the cause of our happiness as gulab jamun, that has vanished now. We have been foolish enough to attribute this or consider gulab jamun as a source of joy. Therefore, what is a source of joy for someone can be a source of sorrow or headache for somebody else. Glaring example is children. I mean, those of you who have got kids abroad, when you visit them, you are all very traditional. You like to listen to Carnatic music, bhajans and all that. You visit your children, and this I'm telling you from my personal experience. It's not pointing out to anybody. Visit them, you sit in their car to go somewhere. The moment they enter the driving seat, they will switch on that audio player in the car. These days, very technological and all, from their phone itself, they can connect to the speaker of the car and they can play whatever music they want, in that. And they will be playing some noisy Western music. Whereas we are used to soft Carnatic music. But for them, they consider that Western music and all this rock band and all as source of joy. For us, it is a source of headache and pain. Isn't it? So the same thing, the source of joy for somebody, a source of headache and pain for somebody else. So whether something is a source of joy or a source of sorrow depends upon how I am trained and how I look at it. And therefore, the first mistake I commit is whenever I dwell upon something for a length of time, the mind has a tendency to appreciate it. Many times we listen to some songs or music, which we may not like it for various reasons initially. But if you go on listening to it, a stage will come when even without you realizing, you will be humming that song. What you hated earlier, you will be singing it now. There is a total change in your attitude. This is the way the mind works. A mind has got that capacity. And this appeal, this attitude is called Sangaha. Therefore, Krishna says, Vishaya Dhyanat Sangaha Jayate. A fancy for that object arises as even you keep on thinking about a particular object, a fancy for that object arises. But even up to this stage, it is not a problem. Okay, I mean, there are so many things. We go on the road, on the street, and there is a beautiful show window of a shop, and there are very nice dresses and things like that and all. You see them, they are very expensive but very attractive, very nice. You think about it, and then there is a fancy which arises in your mind for that dress. Up to this also not a problem. I mean, for example, you see a rose flower, appreciate its beauty. You say, oh, Bhagawad is great. See his beauty, the beautiful rose flower. You are only appreciating Ishwara Vibhuti, glory of the Lord. But then, what could happen is, you start visualizing that rose which is there, so beautiful. If I have it in my hand, I will give it to so and so and so. He or she will be pleased. That meditation on that rose starts. For some people, it is their taste buds. As I gave you the gulab jamun example. What if I have one more? This is sangaha in their mouth. There is no restriction what to eat and how much to eat. Therefore, I begin to look at my own position along with that object. Then I start feeling that I will be more complete if I possess that object or consume that object. That is where the problem starts coming. This Sangaha starts acting rather. So up to this also the situation is manageable, but after dwelling upon the object for a length of time, what was nice and pleasing becomes worth having. Then another round of meditation on that object happens. Again, you go on dwelling on that. Then you begin to say mentally, I want it, I want it, I want it. And at a stage comes when, like stubborn children, you say, I want it, come what may, at any cost I want it. I am prepared to sell everything that I have, but I want it. And I still continue. I want it, I want it. And then a stage comes when I begin to say, without that I cannot live. This whole process, what happens in the mind, you can visualize, picturize as relationship between two people, a male and a female, when they get attracted to each other. The stage comes, I cannot live without her, I cannot live without him. I cannot survive without that object, without that person, without that situation. I cannot live. I am totally incomplete, and without that object or personal or situation. This is the height of fancy, which becomes kamaha. So sangaha now has got turned into kamaha, desire, binding desire. So when this kama happens, it means I am totally trapped and enslaved. I even forget all the Vedantic teaching that I don't need, I am Purna, Aham Purna, I don't need anything to be full and complete. I do not require any object at all to be full and complete. I have heard this teaching. I have actually done, Mananam also. But I still forget everything. And I conclude that without that object, person, or situation, I cannot survive. This is kama. Therefore, Krishna says, Sangat kama sanjayate. A deep yearning, a deep desire is born. So, what is the chain? Vishaya Dhyanam leads to Vishaya Sangaha. Vishaya Sangaha leads to Vishaya Kamaha. Then what happens? Krishna says, Kamat Krodho Bijayate. Now the problem is getting more serious. Because from Kama, after the Kama or desire has arisen, there are two routes possible. The desire may be fulfilled, that is one route, or the desire may not be fulfilled, then that is another route. Both routes are dangerous, but here Krishna talks only of the second route, where the desire is not fulfilled. What happens? Suppose we go to a shop and there is some item which is very expensive stuff and we have keen desire to buy it. You like it, you tell the shopkeeper, please keep it aside. I don't have sufficient money to pay for it. I will go to the nearest ATM, withdraw money and come back. So tell the salesman that you would get the money and come back to buy that. But when I go back with the money to the shop, the salesman says, sir, just now somebody else has purchased that item. I am sorry, you did not pay, so I could not keep it. That somebody else has taken that piece. Even at that stage, you say, okay, it doesn't matter, give me another piece like that. And he says that that was the last piece. Well, these days, there is such a heavy competition for everything. You like something, so many other people also like that. Therefore, my desire is not fulfilled. Unfulfilled desire, thwarted desire gets converted into anger. You start shouting at the salesman, what the hell? I told you specifically to keep it aside for me and then I will be back from the ATM and pay you for it. How the hell can you sell it to somebody else? Anger. You start, there is a fight which can ensue there. In fact, we should realize anger is desire itself in a different form. What is anger? Nothing but desire, but changed form. Therefore, Krishna says, Kamat Krodho Bijayate. From obstructed desire, anger is born. And whoever is going to obstruct, I want to destroy that person. And this is what happens in business field, isn't it? What all things they do to destroy the competitor. Even to the extent they engage all these, what I may call the gundas or rowdies, to physically liquidate the competitor. Why? Because they want their business to succeed and other people's business to be destroyed. Therefore, remove the person, liquidate the person. A strong desire, as this desire grows stronger and stronger, it can make a person do anything. He can go to any extreme rather. So this is unfulfilled desire. Now, what about the other route? Fulfilled desire. Of course, Krishna does not discuss it here, but we can make an intelligent deduction. Suppose the karma is fulfilled, what will happen? We will be happy for some time. And then we will look for the next higher stage. When you have no money in your pocket, you will think that if I got 100 rupees, I will be very happy. You get 100 rupees. You will be happy for some time. Then you will think, if I get 1,000 rupees, I will be more happy. Then if I have got a lakh, I've got a crore, need a million. Like that, there is no limit to the desire. So unfulfilled desire lead to what? Anger. This fulfilled desire leads to greed. All the Shatrupu, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsadyam, all these are born from desire only. Different shades of desire, different results come. And that is how, these gamblers get sucked into gambling. The psychology is in play. Initially, they may succeed. They will make some money. Then they are attracted by them, desire for more and more. Eventually, they will lose everything that they have got. But why talk of ordinary people? Even Dharmaputra himself got victimized because of that. In fact, one of the lessons taught by Mahabharata is gambling is one of the biggest weaknesses or the worst weakness which can destroy even a dharmic person. Even a Dharmaputra can get lost because of that weakness. Many people, they will read Mahabharata and then say, how can Dharmaputra do this? How can Dharmaputra do that and all? One thing we must remember, as students of Vedanta, we look at all these historical stories, these itihasas. We must learn to look at them, understand them from a philosophical angle, and take away the lessons which they give us, instead of focusing on the events which happen or the personalities which are involved. That is an intelligent study of all the Puranas or even itihasas and all. Even Bhagavad Gita we are studying. There are many people who will look at the literal meaning of these slokas and they will say it doesn't make any sense. It will not make any sense. They are not meant to be studied and understood in a literal way. You have to go into that. What message is being conveyed here? What is the learning? What is the takeaway for me? That you have to focus on. So, we have to learn that karma can lead to lobha also, not only krodha. But of course, as I said, Krishna doesn't talk about it here. Therefore, karma is not fulfilled will lead to anger. So, in all, 4 stages are involved. Vishaya Dhyanam, Vishaya Sangaha, Vishaya Kama and Krodha. And Krishna says, what then happens? Okay, you have now reached the Krodha stage. What happens in the next sloka? Krishna outlines. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibramah, smriti bhramshat buddhi nashah, buddhi nashat pranashyati. 63rd sloka. Anvaya is Krodhat sammoha bhavati. Sammohat smriti vibramah. Smriti bhramshat buddhi nashaha. buddhi nashat pranashyati. This is the Anvaya. So, krodhat sammoha bhavati. From anger arises delusion. Sammohat, from delusion, arises smriti vibhramaha, loss of memory. Smriti bhramshat, from the loss of memory, what results? Buddhi nashaha, loss of discrimination. Buddhi nashat pranashyati, from loss of discrimination, a person perishes. Perishes here need not necessarily mean physically he perishes, but his entire thinking capacity, his intellectual capacity, his own personality perishes. So this is what Krishna says will lead to, if you do not practice mano nigraha. So from anger arises delusion. Delusion results in loss of memory. From loss of memory arises loss of discrimination. And because of loss of discrimination, the person perishes. This is what Krishna leads us to in terms of the consequences. We will see more in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all so much. Namaste.
Namaste, Guruji. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Namaste,
Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Dhanyawada, Guruji.
Dhanyawada. Dhanyawada.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
So the last sloga you can summarize Atra Karanaga Buddhi Bhattu. Huh?
Correct. That is what it is. That is only we are going to the sammoha, buddhi, no, but after that, what happens? Also, Krishna is talking,
That will, of course.
Yeah, because when you can't use your buddhi, you will perish.
Definitely.
That's all. Yeah.
Lead you to destruction. Yes.
Lead you to destruction. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
I have seen people having a very good job, right?
Yes.
And in a moment of some anger has come and they do something or say something, they lose the job. Afterwards, repenting is not going to help. So,
like the Rasgulla example, what you gave. Rasgulla example, what you gave.
Yeah.
Rasgulla. That is Adhigamayal Amurdam Nanju.
Nanjum. Everything in Tamil, there is a beautiful saying.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a thing, because all scriptures talk about the same thing, the same path only. So
absolutely,
we know that how we should lead our life, that is being taught to us through all these things, rather, right?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
That's a beauty. And when we study the Gita, at least we must attempt to the best extent possible to implement it in our own life in small, if not in a big way, small way.
Yes,
that will be the benefit we will get out of Gita study, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Anybody else has got any question?
Guruji, I have Pranam, Guruji.
Pranam.
All this, what Krishna is saying is very nice, of course. Every morning you get up determining that, okay, today I'll do these things, I won't do these things, I'll do. But then by the middle of the day, everything has gone flying. Hope in the later chapters, Krishna gives some easy formula as well.
No easy formula is there. Nothing we call easy formula. See, we have to take a resolve. For example, I tell you, many people, not necessarily people who are in this spiritual path, and many other people, they take a decision, I will not watch TV because it is useless for me. They may be doing so many, instead of watching a TV, I will read a book. But the same thing is not that easy for many others. They cannot even eat. A morsel of food will not go inside their mouth unless they watch the TV in the regular time, that whatever serial comes or something. They will not even move out of that place where they are sitting. So what is difficult for some person could be very easy for some other person. It all depends upon how you set your priorities. When you come to Vedanta, you set your priorities. This is what I'm going to do. Okay, for my living, I have to do these things that I cannot do. I can't help that. I'm working somewhere. I have to go there. I have to do all that thing, and whether I like it or not, I will have to listen to so many things. But then there, I actually put one what I would call like we wear the gloves. I insulate myself, and all those things, they will come, hit my sense organs, and they will bounce back. I will not allow them to go into my mind. I will say, no, I don't want to carry this back to my home. I will leave it here itself. So you go. And many people, in fact, for some time, I have practiced it myself rather. Office, I get out of office, I will forget about office. I will not take any phone calls, nothing. I go home, I spend my time at home. Next day morning, when I step into the office only, I think of what I should do that in the office. So if you practice it to some extent, it is all possible rather. But there is no easy way. Krishna doesn't say, oh, do this and
No, I
take
was
this
just
pills
saying it
and
in a
your
lighter
headache
vein.
will.
I
Sorry?
was saying it in a lighter vein, Guruji.
No, I said that. I know that.
I mean, I think
I mean, there is.
my problem is talking. I think I talk too much, as everybody can see on the class. And I think I should remember the three monkeys of Gandhi.
Yes, remember the three monkeys. That's a very good. In fact, many people think three monkeys, what is it? It's a highly philosophical and Vedantic interpretation you can give to the three monkeys. Look at the three monkeys. You will not talk unnecessarily. You will not see unnecessarily. You will not hear unnecessarily. And in fact, you will shut down. Movement, something extra comes, you will shut down. I don't want this. Right? So we have to practice. One good thing that is happening now is all these thoughts, which earlier we might not have even thought about, are all going into our mind rather. So we at least know what we should do. Whenever we are able to do that, we can start doing it. It is not lack of knowledge, but lack of, I would say, the opportunity and little bit weak willpower to do it. So you can, after some time, it will automatically grow on you. There will be a Vishaya Sammoha, not Sammoha, Kamaha will happen for this pursuit. Then you will be able to sacrifice anything. Sannyasis do that only, rather when their intellect has reached that particular stage, then nothing matters for them. They renounce everything and say, I'm going to go away. So that will happen. But then there is no pill or something, you eat it and 1/2 an hour headache goes. That is not there in Vedanta.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om. Any other question? Yes. I see a hand going up. Hariji. Oh, Hariji. I can't. It looks different. Hariji, do you want any question? I don't know. Yes, Sulekha ji, you go ahead.
Hari Om,
Hari
Guruji.
Om.
And thank you to Lata ji, excuse me, for also her question. I thought it was a very good question and good response. And I enjoy when she asks questions, as she always brings clarity. My question is around the sense objects, Guruji. And can you just clarify if the word sense objects is also can relate to situations, not only objects, but
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
situations, and attitudes?
Yes. Not attitude, the attitude towards objects, physical objects, people, and situations. All these three comes under the sense objects. Vishaya means, we translate the word Vishaya as objects, literally, but actually it includes all three: people, person, and things. All three.
Thank you.
So it need not necessarily be only an object. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Hariji, you wanted to ask something? He's muted his speaker, or I don't know. He's not able to hear me. Yes, Situ, Sitaram, you tell me.
I have a comment only
Yeah.
on Mataji's thing. I think by the time we reach the 700 sloka, we will have some clarity on how to approach.
No, that is the
What I mean to say is the whole process is absolutely very difficult. For you to go stage by stage, and especially for people who are working or in business or in some activity which is other than the routine, it's a very, the process is involves a lot of dedication, and by the time we go through this entire subject matter, 700 is, I think we are just in 60.
Yeah.
61. We have another 10 years to 5 years to go.
Yeah,
By the end of-
probably, yeah.
by
Maybe
the
not.
end of
Okay,
it,
let's see.
I'm sure we will have much more clarity on it,
Yeah.
on how to approach the.
See, what also, as I told you earlier, second chapter only has a sort of a headline kind of a thing, that main points. Krishna will elaborate on all these things, how to go about it. So many sadhanas he will prescribe, how attitude, how you should view things, how you should understand things. All that Krishna will talk about. The rest of the 16 chapters are all about that only. And 18th chapter, he will summarize everything. So we can, there are lot of tips, lot of sadhanas which we will learn as we go along, rather, right? It includes even yogasanas, rather, meditate, how to do meditation. All that Krishna gives very, very, very detailed prescription for all these things. But then it is for us to do all those things, isn't it? So the second chapter is just, second chapter takes a long time because practically we are teaching the whole of Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter itself in a nutshell, rather. And it has got 72 slokas, rather, right? One of the longest chapters. In fact, the second chapter and the last chapter are the longest chapters in Bhagavad Gita. All other chapters and all, you will find 30 slokas, 20 slokas, 27 slokas, like that. These are the two chapters, the second and last, which are very long chapters. And that is because this is the one way, this is the summary or a headline chapter, that is the conclusion summary chapter. So the whole Gita teaching is dealt with in these two. What happens in the middle is all different, conversations between Arjuna, Krishna, doubts of Arjuna, and so many interesting things have happened. But Krishna, again, for example, Vishwarupa Darshanam, that chapter is there. Through that, Krishna actually makes us understand what Bhagavan is all about. When we say Bhagavan, 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 is an entity, is a phenomenon. So he says that everything that is there happening in the universe is me only. I am the one who is all good things happening, bad things happening, everything. I determined everything here. So that when we come to that, all those things will come. So that is how the whole Gita is structured by Vyasa Rishi.
Thank you.
So we will see. It will be interesting. Good. Thank you, Sitara. So nothing else is there. So can we?
No, I think
Yes.
Sulekha ji wants to.
Yeah, Sulekha ji, tell me.
Thank you, Guruji and Sitaram ji. I had just one more of a comment than a question, and it was related to what Sitaram ji had said in terms of the Bhagavad Gita or even any of the teachings of the Shastras. Is the development of one's own inner strength. And I think you have been talking quite a bit about emotional maturity and inner strength. And the development of that inner strength goes hand in hand or parallel with, or even hand in hand, maybe not parallel, but together with the teaching, so that as one develops and grows in inner strength, then also the ability to understand the teachings or to assimilate them also becomes more possible as one expands.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is the path. Yeah, all this will not happen in one stage. In fact, on a particular day, on a particular thought, you will say, okay, I'm going to do this today, but that will have its own benefits inside. Side effects will be there. So it is not that, okay, I do meditation, I get to this stage and all. Many things happen simultaneously. So if you find yourself, for example, your spouse is there is something that the spouse keeps on irritating you, right? I'm just giving an example, right? Now you decide, okay, from tomorrow onwards, whatever my spouse says or does, I will refuse to be irritated. I'll just keep calm. It may not happen in 1 day, 2 days, but if you dwell upon that, I am not going to react, I'm not going to react, I'm not going to react. A stage will come when actually speaking, you will stop reacting. And you know what may happen? The spouse has been doing all this, only he or she was enjoying the reaction. When the moment you stop reaction, that irritation also will go away. So these are all practical things which we can observe in our own life, right? So you are right. I mean, this is all a process going together, everything happening. And we are learning what are all the various ways that we can actually tackle these issues. That's it.
Thank you, Guruji. It's been a very wonderful class, and also the teachings are so clear. It's just trying to learn and assimilate them.
Yeah.
And very nice. Thank you.
It will take time. As Sitaram said, we are just in 60th sloka. We have to go 700 sloka. So enough is there. No problem. Hariji has been raising his hands, but he is not speaking. I don't know whether there's a problem with his computer. Hariji, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hariji.
I can.
Okay. Now come. Hari Om. Thank
no,
you.
but I have a massive internet problem. It keeps on
dropping
and dropping again, coming back, dropping.
Right.
Massive.
Because of cyclone, probably.
I don't know. It was causing me real problem. Today's class was very, very, very fantastic. The ladder of fall, how we fall, how we get trapped in our own net,
Yeah, that is true.
We spread the net and we trap ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, and I have not been able to attend the class.
I know.
Of my, it is.
But I'm glad to see you today in the class. I'm glad to see you.
I'm slowly. I started going out and.
Good.
I hope in a week or two I should be back to
normal earlier time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Surgery and all, it will happen. I think that's why I keep telling you, you should pay more attention to your health now rather than this, because this you can always do it later. But health is more important. So take care, take good care.
No, if the missing the class is the most disturbing thing,
No,
we can.
You must not. You must tell your mind. It doesn't matter for me. Now priority is my health. I need to pay. Classes I can always do later. I can look at the recordings I get. I can always, understand what is being taught. But right now, if you actually strain yourself, it could be detrimental to your recovery from the surgery, isn't it? So that is what you should focus on. I mean, if you feel like, I'm not saying that you should not attend the classes, but don't make it a sort of a thing that, oh my God, I feel guilty that I have not attended the class. That feeling should not be there. Don't be guilty about it. So we don't need to feel guilty about anything that doesn't happen. So 100%, yes, Vedanti is one who does not have any guilt. Because he accepts that whatever is happening, Ishwara yat karoti, shobhanameva karoti. Whatever is happening to me, it is happening for the good only. So even if wrong, bad things which I don't like happen, there is something which is good behind it, and that is why this is happening. Let's take it in that way as Ishwara Prasada. So there is no feeling of any guilt. Even hurt is not there. Hurt and guilt are two important things a Vedanti should focus on and remove it from his life, hurt and guilt. Pujya Swamiji always emphasizes that. These two things are the causes of all our sorrow. Okay, anything
Guruji,
more?
no question. If you have time, or else I can ask in the next
Time
class.
is there. Time is there. Because I am in Nana Nani. The only issue is I have a batch for dinner batch at 7:30. Another is at 8 o'clock. So even if I miss the 7:30 batch, it's not a problem. I can always go.
No,
and eat
no,
the
Guruji. I'll post the question on WhatsApp. You can answer it next time.
No, you please go ahead. No problem.
Yeah,
And still enough time.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Guruji, about that.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
We are talking about we wanting to do the right things, but we keep missing it. And so to achieve anything, our own effort is one thing that's required. And then another thing is God's grace.
Absolutely.
So about my own effort also is also karma dependent on God. But then is there anything, what is that we can do to get to be blessed with more God's grace on the path that we are going? Is there anything specifically
God's grace, how we earn God's grace? By being dharmic. So in every action, every thought, manasa, vacha, astabhyam, right? We must always focus on doing what is right, what is dharmic, what do we mean by dharmic? One is definition of dharmic is what has been prescribed in the Shastras. Now we do not know what all things have been prescribed in the Shastras. So at a lower level, we can say dharmic means I don't hurt anybody, either even physically, mentally, and all that. Ahimsa. I follow ahimsa. I follow saucham. I follow Ishwara Pranidhanam. So all that yoga, in Yoga Shastra, if you are a yoga student, initially they would have taught you 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. Yoga Shastra, these days nobody bothered because Yoga Shastra is only physical exercise. But if you are a student of yoga, the first lesson, Ashtanga starts with yama and niyama only. Without yama and niyama, asana and all is a waste. It's only a physical PT exercise, physical training exercise. So that yama and niyama, if you follow the 10 disciplines, then you have got all the grace of God showering on you. And actually speaking, when we say, what do we mean by the grace of God? Have we ever thought about it? It is not that the God is going to show his hand and say, I bless you. It's not that. Grace of God means anything that we attempt to do or we want to do, the cosmic forces support that. They support that activity so that we achieve success in that activity. Without the support of the cosmic forces, you will never ever be able to succeed, even if you put in your own efforts. So what we do whenever we are praying, we are actually directing our prayer to all the devatas who are nothing but cosmic forces. There are 33,000 crore forces is what the Shastra says. And each one of them we say is a deity or a devata. Right? Nothing but a power. We are appealing to that. And that power has got the power to support what we want to do. So as long as we do nothing to disturb the activities of these cosmic forces, we are being dharmic. The moment we start rebelling against or tweaking with these cosmic forces is when we start doing adharmic things. And when we do adharma, they say papa. What is papa? obstructions being caused by the cosmic forces. You do this to me, I will do this much more to you. And when we see all these tragedies taking place around us, we can easily sense this is what is happening. More and more people, they are just, when we say we are talking about environmental, what the preservation and all. Why do we need to talk about that? Because you have destroyed the environment earlier. And today the environment is striking back at you. And then you suddenly become very, very, they say, I have to protect the environment. You cannot stop the glaciers from melting. In fact, there is a prediction that next year some big glacier is going to melt and the sea levels are going to rise. Many small places will get drowned totally. That is the prediction. Of course, I don't know whether these predictions are correct or not, but people make predictions. Why all this is happening? Because we have actually damaged this entire environment where we are a part of it. We never thought. We thought we are separate from that. And we have damaged it. We have destroyed it. So whenever we talk of dharmic life and all that we need to remember is this only. 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. Whatever is there, minimum that you practice, you are leading a dharmic life. So your effort is important. Without your effort, nothing is going to happen. But as they say, there is always a slip between the cup and the lip. Avoidance of that slip is what we say, God's grace or Bhagavan's grace and all. Nothing else but the cosmic powers' grace. The support of the cosmic powers. We need that every minute of our living. And that is what we must understand and continue to live.
Thank you very much.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you. No, there is no delay part of it. It's only a question of which batch I choose to go. That's all. So if it is going well, I'll go at 8 o'clock. Still, for 8 o'clock, I have got even 7:30 batch I can catch. In fact, yeah. Yes, Hariji, tell me.
No, I think he's forgotten. The hand is raised from the previous time, I guess.
No, he just now raised his hand physically.
I think he's not able to hear again because of the internet.
Yeah, I think the
Guruji, when
tell me.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me.
Unmute Hariji.
No, he is unmuted. I think it's a network which is down.
No, he is muted, Guruji.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
You have to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Lataji was asking about grace, how to get grace.
Yes. Oh, he has gone off the. I think his net is really. He has come back. Your internet is really acting up. Hariji. Can you hear me, Hariji?
Thank you very much, Guruji. Pranam.
Pranam. I think
thank you.
I will ask Hariji to ask the question on WhatsApp, whatever he wants to ask.
Thank you, Guruji.
Okay, thank you, Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Hari Om.